This is exciting.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming on. It's as you just said, it's been a minute trying to make it happen, but I feel like we made it happen finally at the right time. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and I want to introduce you, but I want you to kind of introduce yourself. So I'm gonna just say your name, and then you're gonna let them know who's on the mic today. You understand? Okay. So today, today we got a pretty young lady from Uganda.
Hello.
Yeah. So we got Martina on today.
Hi.
And I think I just came across you through like you know seeing your events, seeing you do things around East Africa, around music, around PR, around just kind of being outside essentially. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, cool. I like the vibe, and I came to a few of the events and stuff. So would you like to let us know a bit about what you do, please?
Okay, so my name is Martina Jordine. I am the founder of 66 Agency. Mm-hmm. We help businesses and talent develop authentic relationships with their audience through a range of means. So that could be like whether it's in real life solutions, so putting on events, or it could be online solutions, so helping them with their social media strategy, like management, brand partnerships. We kind of do it all, but I'm also a content creator documenting what it's like to live alone after loss at the age of 25. And I feel like when I say that, I think 25 is kind of like an adult to many people, but I think the circumstances in which I became like responsible for everything were just kind of like, whoa. Yeah. So I think that's quite interesting, and London's expensive nowadays. But yeah, I would like to call myself like a connector. I'm all for basically just like putting the dots together. So sometimes it's just me connecting my friends with other people that have work, or it's me connecting my clients with their audience, or connecting my clients with like other things. So yeah, I guess that's what I do.
Nice. That is a great summary, That is honestly, that is beautiful. So like as you mentioned, you connect the dots. That's your thing. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but I think we can't just go past what you just mentioned about documenting life after loss.
Yeah.
So what made you want to document it? Like, publicly?
So I guess, to be honest, I've kind of lived a lot of my life on the internet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything foreign to me when my nan passed away. Mm-hmm. So for context, I started a blog when I was around 14, 15 years old. And then a year later, I transitioned onto YouTube, and then I've essentially, like, you can't see it anymore, but like I documented like my whole university experience. Yeah. I created like a little talk show that I did at uni. What else? Like I've kind of always been the person, and the reason why I then became like an agency founder is because I then started creating content about the things that I knew, because I realized very early on that like I had more knowledge than my peers at the time.
Right.
And I wanted them to come with me to like wherever it was that we were going. Like, so if I'm going to these events, hopefully you're kind of in the same position where you're also being invited. So I would
like that.
Open my network up and like basically start doing an event, and in documenting that process, then it was like, okay, cool, like, I get clients. So when my nan passed away, I think it was, I cried. Obviously, I was mad sad. She passed away like a month after my birthday. We both had COVID at the same time. But she ended up like passing away from COVID pneumonia. And I live with my nan. I didn't live with my mum. My mum basically lives like down the road. Mm-hmm. But I made a decision to stay at my nan's house and look after it. But my nan essentially spent 4 weeks in hospital. And I think for the first 2 weeks, I was like, yeah, like she's,
fine, yeah,
she's going to be okay. She's going to come back. But then it started to dawn on me that at some point, you're going to have to like figure this stuff out. And I remember when she eventually passed away, we went back to Uganda. And then when we came home, I think it was like we were in Uganda for like 4 weeks. We came home and I had no electricity. I had no Wi-Fi. I had no gas. And I remember just calling my mum crying, because it's just like, imagine coming back from like this. I don't even want to call it a holiday, because it wasn't really a holiday, but like you've come back to the country and like all of a sudden like everything is cut off, like Sky's cut off, everything. Yeah. It's like I had also just started a job that same week that she passed away. So it's like tomorrow I've got work, but I have no internet, I have no gas, I have no electricity. Like
it's a scramble for yeah.
And I was just like, there were just so many questions that I had. And And I've always been quite transparent about like my mental health. I've done videos on like getting diagnosed with depression or going through therapy. So I just kind of feel like this was kind of one of those moments where I felt like led to share things in a way that was helpful for me and also for others, in a way that people didn't really feel alone, because I think sometimes it's like, okay, cool, you're 25, you should know how to like do all of those things, but if you've never had to do it, like
you don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to do it. And yeah, you went to uni and you lived alone, but that's like, you know, at some point you're going home.
Bubble, innit?
That's a completely different experience. You know what I mean? But I think like I just feel like there's loads of questions and there's things that I wish I knew before I like had to live alone, and it's just now about like my thing is always about just helping other people like do better than I did when I was first put in a situation. So whether that's with their career or whether that's with like their living situation, even if it's not like you want to live alone after loss or something, you just want to like, how do I move out?
Or the process and everything.
There's loads of things, you know what I mean? So that's, it was just kind of like, I've been living on the internet, and I feel like every time I try to hide away, somebody messages me and they're like, oh, Martina, like that video that you did.
That's so interesting, you know. I like that phrase where you said that I've been living on the internet, grew up living on the internet. That's so interesting. Because I mean, everything's online, everything's internet now, everything's just, that's the go-to now. So like, I guess you said you started your blog, you started YouTube and stuff like that. So that foresight to kind of start then, what was it like? What was the idea? Did you just want to be, you just want for fun or like?
No, it wasn't for fun. I think I was, and I still kind of am, like quite shy. Maybe I'm not shy. I think I have, over the years, I've just kind of like gone into like a
introverted thing.
I've become introverted, you know what I mean? Because when I was younger, I used to be a cheerleader, gymnast. Like I used to go performing arts school. I used to do all of those things. But I think over time, I got to a place where I was kind of like, whoa, people, this is scary. So then I think before starting the blog, I was watching YouTube. There was a lady called Shameless Maya that I came across. And she had literally just started her channel, and her whole thing was she wanted to do something shameless. Like, so she was going to, for the next year, document her life on YouTube. Okay. I was kind of like, not gonna lie, I can't jump straight on
yeah. I
can't jump straight onto that from like not wanting to talk to people. Like in secondary school, like I wasn't the popular kid, but I was friends with all the popular people.
Right.
Like, so I was in that mix. Like, do you know what I mean? So people knew me, but like I weren't always the first person that they ran to, type of thing. So for me to then go from like just being like associated to like, whoa, look at me,
face of it now,
that felt too much. So I did blogging for a while. I used to do content like my week in pictures, and it'd be me documenting like how I'm revising for my GCSEs or like the events that I went to. Obviously I think at that point I was still kind of doing cheerleading, so it was like anything that I was doing, like friends' birthdays, like you know, makeup products that I had my eye on. Like back then, like blogging was so quite
the blog era.
Like so I was so I think back then, and I always beat myself up about it because I remember in their early days did a blog post for Farfetch, and then like I just never kept up with stuff like that. Like so it's just like for me it's just like where would you be if you had continued? But then at the same time it's just like I say it all the time, but like I'm literally just winging it. Do you know what I mean?
We're just winging it.
Like
even right now I'm winging it.
Like I'm literally just like we're all just winging it, and it's just kind of like when I was writing the blog, it was just kind of like some things kind of felt a bit sketchy. Some collaborations, like I did them, like I was gifted some stuff, and it was like a really nice experience. But I eventually obviously transitioned onto YouTube. I don't remember if I had a camera first or like I think my boyfriend at the time, I think he bought me
a little giggle.
he bought me the Canon 700D.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, nice. Back then I think.
Nice lad. Eyes rolled. Carry on.
So he bought me a camera, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing. Okay, like let's do the YouTube thing."
It to use,
and then eventually we got a MacBook. Can't remember if he bought that for me or my mum bought it for me at some point. Like, hey,
just getting creative with it.
So like we were just trying to do whatever, and I think at that point like he believed that, okay, cool, if this is what she wants to do, then
go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm gonna try and help her do it. So I was like, alright, cool, like let's and that's fun. We we were consistent. We did like makeup videos. We did weekly vlogs.
Vibes.
Everything I've documented, like family vacations.
Wow.
I think like YouTube for me, the reason why I keep on coming back to it is because I quite like the fact that I can actually just look back on my life.
It is, yeah. I mean, the word documenting is the right word, isn't it? You're just documenting everything, your life, and the fact that it's just there like an archive.
Yeah. So like even the YouTube videos that I have like made like private, it's like if I wanted to, like me and my friends, we used to do like we used to do like drunk makeup challenges. We get to watch those videos and be like, raw, like we were really like that in uni. That's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely hear that.
That's crazy. But then it's also just like we were talking earlier about how I'm now working with someone that's been watching me from 2016, and it's like she, for example, has been able to watch me evolve from Martina, the person that was out every other night because she was like an events promoter at uni. Like I used to do stuff like that because I knew that I wanted to get to a point where I was like helping people market their events and stuff. So I thought, why not sell tickets? I went to first year and I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna try and do this as tactically.
Where'd you go uni, by the way?
Birmingham City.
Birmingham?
I love it.
I actually love Birmingham. You know, Birmingham is probably my favourite city in this country, but carry on.
I think same. So I would
Glasgow,
I would have stayed in Birmingham if I got a job, but I didn't get a job in time.
Yeah.
So I'm here.
Well, you're pushing, we're still moving on.
Yeah.
But go on, so obviously you started doing the promotion thing, jumped into that. So it's just been an evolution essentially. Like the whole evolution from the blogging to the YouTube to the events to now the PR to Martina Gordine, the go-to, the guru, So how did that evolve? How did that come about? The idea of like building a company that people can come to you and consult and, you know, do your own thing. And
it was an accident. So
like most good things.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was an accident. So I think in the summer after my first year of university, I remember speaking to my friend Stanley, and I was like to him, I think I want to create a platform that helps creatives get access to industry related information, make it more accessible. I didn't know this at the time, but I now know that I'm dyslexic, dyspraxic. There's just a whole when it comes to trying to learn about an industry as new as the creative industry, like there are so many barriers to entry, whether it's having to pay for a subscription to these organizations, or I don't know if Campaign you have to pay for. I feel like Campaign you have to pay for, even just time. And I think there's a part of me that feels like, yeah, you need to do the work, but I also feel like we shouldn't necessarily penalize people for not knowing things and not knowing where to search when they've never had anyone in that kind of space before. Do you know what I mean? We don't really have that many role models. Like, I feel like the next generation, for example, like whilst we still can, like, are going to be looking up to Issa Rae, and then they're going to be able to have like these actual people that like
real life people,
like blueprints. Do you know what I mean? But I think for me, we didn't have that. So I was like, cool, I'm going to do this, and I announced it. It was called the Pink Book UK. The Pink Book, because it was like a positive spin on the Black Book, which back in the day was where like men would keep like their contacts for all of the women that they shouldn't really have in their phone. Pink is obviously my favorite color, so it's the whole idea of me giving you like my little network book. So we did events about like how to create what does a creative CV look like. What else did we had two series. We had Cocktails and Conversations, and we've got Let's Talk still exists. Cocktails and Conversations I have to rename, unfortunately, but yeah, so Cocktails and Conversations was literally just about talking to people about the realities of like what it is to be a creative, like the day-to-day stuff. So our first ever one, I remember we had like Grazie Cat, we had Josiah, Mr. 200 Meters, we had Vanessa Daniels, Jada Sekou, and like some other people. Like these were literally like my YouTuber friends. And we were discussing stuff like men's mental health as a creator.
How long ago was this? Do you want me asking?
2017.
Yeah, okay.
2017, yeah, because I graduated 2019. So I think it was like 2017, 2018 I started doing events. So that was the first event, completely free, up in Birmingham. I remember first sending tickets and like it weren't moving, and I was like, nobody knows you here. That's fine. Let's do it for free. It's the first one.
See what happens,
and luckily I was doing a course that was part practical, part practical, part theoretical. So I did an events and exhibitions module. So every event that I did as my events module. So it contributed to my grade.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I was just doing these things to do them. It was like, it was a win-win. So the more events that I did, I was like, oh, okay, cool. People are coming and now they're selling out. And it's like, I had people traveling from like Portsmouth to come to Birmingham for events. So I was like, okay, cool. This is
catching on.
You know what I mean? This is great. And then eventually what did I do? I created a podcast in my final year for my final project because at that point I was still going between London and Birmingham, and I didn't want to be an inconvenience to anybody that was going to be in my group. So I did all of the group work by myself.
Right.
Created the podcast, did the editing, did the research, did it all.
Yeah, you're a hard worker still.
Did it all, ended up getting the first, and I was like, okay, cool, this is sick.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I got first in my final year project, and then I got a 2-1 overall. So I was like, okay, cool, this is sick. We're still, all the time, we're still interning. I was doing work with Bay Agency, at Table Bay at the time, basically. So I was working as an artist liaison. So whenever they do events, I'd help them basically like make sure that the artists were where they needed to be. Any talent that came through was going to all of the stores, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. I was just very much I'm going to try and do as much as I can and let everybody know that I'm sick and I'm going to be everywhere so that people know that like I'm everywhere and like my name's
And even if they don't know, they're going to be like, who's that girl? 'Cause she's
and then that happened because I think there's a lady called Shani Mears. I feel like everyone should like Shani. I love her. Like, I feel like I'm always shouting Shani out.
Big up Shani.
But she's like amazing, and I remember there's a point where like I used to just follow her everywhere. Like any event that Shani was at, I was going to.
Active.
Like to the point where like she was telling her story, and I knew what was coming up. I was coming up next. But the good thing with that is that other people that were doing that, or like her friends that would come to her events to support her, would also then start to like notice me. And I think that there was one time, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Ibrahim or Jide, from Go Up, but they were like, I feel like I see you everywhere.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just kind of, it was just like through stuff like that, by going to people and saying, hey, like, this is what I do, you know, do you have any jobs? Or like, so I think it just kind of spiraled. So I was working full time, and then I think my first ever freelance gig was kind of through an agency called Hybrid, and that was to be basically Tiny Temper's social media manager strategist type person. So based on things that he was doing, I would obviously have to like come up with like the content plan, all of the copywriting for that, posting. I would also like ideate stuff, and I think at that point, I think TikTok was, I don't think it was TikTok. I think TikTok was just kind of starting to pop up, but like also Reels and stuff.
Reels, yeah.
So I would like send, I found all of the content that I feel like he should post, script it for him, and then they'd send it to him and he'd do it. And then eventually you went from Tiny to like working on Disturb in London. But this is all whilst I'm working at another company. And then it just kind of kept on spiraling from there. And I was just like, yeah, cool. Okay. Then I did DLT, and then I did like Vamp, and then I did like, it's just been like I've just been going everywhere and saying like, hey, my name's Martina. This is what I do. You need me. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, we can squeeze you in. We can do
literally.
Yeah. But I guess that just comes from the fact that you were doing something. You were active. You were proactive.
Yeah.
You weren't just like just waiting around and be like, cool, maybe I'll try or whatever. And also you were trying to do other things yourself, your blogs, your YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So that's dope. I guess it's opportunity meeting preparation, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's definitely it. I think it's the whole like, I didn't wait for someone to give me something, because I feel like a lot of the time you can sit here and you can get discouraged and be like, wow, like no one's really giving me any jobs, and like, hey, I'm like, I've been there even to this day. Sometimes like I still be applying for jobs just to see, and it's just like, nobody wants you. So it's like, okay, like just keep trying to make things work, and at some point something will stick.
You cut through innit?
Yeah.
I mean that's essentially being a creative, innit? That's what it comes down to. It just comes down to trying it, wherever comes to mind. And we were talking about outside about everything's all in your head, and getting it on paper sometimes can be tricky. It could be hard to explain some things to someone, so you just like, I won't even explain it, I'll just show you. But
exactly.
Then when you're trying to build a team now, because you got someone coming on board now, you said, how do you now translate that idea, or how do you think, because how long have you been together now with she's been on board, or just recently? Or?
So she kind of officially started yesterday.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
she did a few bits for me last week.
Yeah.
And then I invited her down to the business show whenever the business show was.
Yeah.
I feel like I think the business show was like a week and a half ago, something like
Yeah.
that. So she came down on the Thursday for like the media day. And then she did some stuff for me last week, and I'm just like, yeah, like, you're sick. Like, you're sick. Like,
It's work.
yeah, like, I just feel like it's more so about me having to make sure that I have things to give her to do, to challenge her and to make her helpful to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she has the ability to do it, but I think when you've been doing something for so long by yourself, it's on one part it's like you don't really know how to delegate and what to part with, but then on the other part it's just kind of like it's like you kind of have to give them stuff.
Yeah, you have. I mean, you have to, but it's knowing what to kind of let go and hold on to, and what to.
Yeah, but So it's like I don't know, I don't know. But I think
interesting.
I'm also of the belief of like you just need to give. I'm 25 and I'm the founder of an agency, right? She's 24. It's like we're not that different in age. We're not that different in age.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, it's just kind of like I want to give her as much responsibility, and I think this sometimes is my downfall, as she is willing to take on.
Okay.
Because I kind of wish sometimes that people didn't let my age be the reason why they didn't
let you do stuff.
Let me do stuff, because it's like, allow me to ask the questions that make me good at this job.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think I'm lucky enough in a place where I can teach. I have the capacity to like give her a task, and if she has questions, we can jump on a call quickly and it'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, sort it out.
I can talk you through it. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you actually need to give people structure and give them like tasks that are based on where they're at, like at the minute, and allow them to get those things really well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The reason why I asked that is because like I would love to hear you now kind of the same thing maybe 2 years down the line where you got maybe 10 people around you, you know what I'm saying? Like the difference in how you'd answer that question. But it's interesting you say that. That's really dope. So I feel like we haven't touched quite on, before we go, we're going to touch real quick on being East African, being Ugandan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? the 256, I big up 256 link up as well. It was a crazy weekend.
I've actually never been to like those kinds of.
Oh my dear, what are you? I listen, on Sunday we got an event this Sunday. We're doing a live music karaoke night, vibes, games, everything dead there. It's in Dalston, the Jago, 5 to 11 p.m. Got artists coming to perform. Got a live mic, open mic, open decks. So yeah, if you're around, I can send you the details. You can come through, meet some East Africans. On Sunday, this Sunday, yeah.
Wow, there's a lot. Do you know what? Like, I always say that I need to get more into the East African community, because I'm just not there. But like, growing up, I used to go to like Pier 1 all the time. Like, I grew up in Pier 1.
Okay. Is that why you're not trying to go back now?
No, I still go back. I think for one of my cousin's birthday, we went there like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool. It's
vibes.
But you know what my problem is? Yeah, I don't necessarily listen to like Ugandan music as much. Okay. So then when I go there, I remember when I went to Pier 1 that night, I was just like, I don't really know all of these songs.
No.
I know like the old stuff, like, you know, like Double Bed Mazongoto and like all of that.
Baby, tell me what you're drinking.
You know, all of that kind of stuff. Or East African Bashment Crew, like all of them.
Of course.
But there are like some like East African artists that like I listen to. I think there is a guy called Chef Barry.
Oh, come on, big up Chef.
Yeah, so
big up Chef.
I love him. And whatever else, I think there's is it Maui?
Yeah, Maui Moon. Yeah.
They're all like they're all really sick. So
very dope.
I'm really trying to get more into that world, because I think there's a lot to say about like East Africa, and I feel like we're quite lit. I think even from the event that I did, I think where we met, like the one that I did about like East meets West.
Where was it?
At the V&A.
Come on, they gotta know, you know. They gotta know.
So it was at the V&A as part of like GOP's
big up GOP as well.
V&A takeover, and I think that was also like a really like full circle moment for me, because I didn't mention this, but when I was interning at VAMP, my first ever internship, I remember they took me to an event that the GOP boys were speaking at, and I remember telling them like, I'm thinking of creating this platform to help creatives, So to go from like running an idea past them to now doing an event with them, like it was quite sick. And I think over the last couple of years, I've had quite a few full circle moments. I went from an interning at VAMP twice to then having them as a client, and then, do you know what I mean? It's just been like quite sick.
That's dope.
But I just think as East Africans, we're quite humble. We don't necessarily
Everyone
like
says the same thing,
we don't necessarily like big up ourselves the way that other people do. I feel like we should not take a leaf out of like the book of like Nigerians or anything, but I think people in like West Africa are really good at saying that they're great at things and doing it in a way that like commands attention, but not in a way that feels cocky. Do you know what I mean? There are definitely some, there are definitely some big cocky like personalities, but I guess it works for them. But I think as a collective of countries, they're really good at being like, hey, like we've done this and we're really good. And I think Ugandans, East Africans don't necessarily take sometimes that pride in like ourselves and amplify it to like the public as much. Do you know what I mean? I think we try to be led or like led by them and like influenced by them, which I understand, but I think we also have really unique sounds that we should be like amplifying, and maybe if we like continue to do that, maybe we'd command a bit more attention. But I've also gone back to Uganda and been in clubs and we're still playing like songs from 2013.
Every day I win, no matter.
You know what I mean?
Allow me, DJ.
So I feel like it's a bit of it's a bit of a battle sometimes, you know, kind of like, how are we going to influence the generation back there? If we're still playing all of these old songs, like they're being influenced by songs that are like 10 years old.
There's a pride that we lack it sometimes, isn't it? Especially when it comes, I don't know what it is creatively. We don't really take pride in our creatives. Like,
I think but I think it's because
sick.
I feel like it's just not real. Like, I think that's the problem. Creativity isn't considered like a real thing.
No, I hear that. Maybe it's an attitude. It's a way of thinking, mindset.
So like I'm lucky in the sense that like my dad has his own marketing agency, billboard agency.
Oh, nice.
So he does that in like Tanzania and Uganda. His brother is also in the same kind of field. My mum's brother was like a comedian. Like, so I have people in the family that are somewhat creative. But even when I was telling my mum, hey, I'm going to university to study media and communication, she was like, what's that? Do you know what I mean? And I think up until my mum came to see me speak at an event for the first time ever. She's never actually seen me do anything, hasn't necessarily had the luxury of doing that because of whether she's working or something's going on. Well, I remember one time interviewing her for Dice, and she was like, I don't know what you do. I feel like you talk to strangers on the internet.
I live on the internet.
Like she's like, you talk to strangers on the internet, and and it's just like, okay.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nah, it's been real though. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Martina. It's been real coming on, just finally making this happen. And I feel like this is the start of something. We're gonna connect again. We're gonna have you on. And anything you got going on, let me know. I'll always promote. Anything I got going on, I'll always let you know. As I said, this Sunday we're active. Check out Sautis at Mashariki. As you know, that's how we get the music popping. So that's the music platform we're on right now. We're promoting Sautis at Mashariki. It's a East African music platform, promoting the new school, the new wave of East African or R&B alternative hip hop coming out of East Africa. And yeah, man, there's a lot to say for it. So Sautis at Mashariki. Anything you want to plug before you go, my dear?
Just follow me everywhere. It is at MGORDEEN. Those are my personal socials, and then it's at 66 Agency, 66 the word, as in SIXTY, SIX Agency, and then 66agency.com.
Lovely. It's been nothing serious, just vibes. Till next time. Peace.